All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, family. Welcome to the show. This is the Friends with Benefits podcast. I'm Justin. This is Pansy. We got some stragglers rolling in here, waiting to see how many people join us today. But we've got a really special guest. I'm gonna let Pansy introduce our special guest today. But before we do that, how you doing, Pansy?
I'm doing well. How are you, Justin?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good to hear.
Living the dream. I got my coffee, and it's okay. You know.
And you got your podcast.
We got yeah, we got a podcast. No, a lot of stuff happening, so we're doing well. We're doing well, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to be here. So why don't you introduce our wonderful guest?
All right. Well, our guest today on our special Thursday, usually we do this on Fridays, is our buddy Abraham Gray.
Going on? How's it
Hey,
going?
Abraham, great to see you.
You
Thanks
too,
for
you too.
joining us.
Yeah, of course, of course. Always anything for you.
Oh, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah,
wait till you come back to Chicago to visit.
Yeah.
Definitely going to go to a way better place than last time.
Oh, the pizza place?
Yeah,
It was Chicago pizza. I mean,
it's okay, but we got to redo that one.
you got better Chicago pizza there?
Definitely,
Okay. All right.
definitely.
I went to the Bulls game afterwards.
You
oh,
did, yeah.
there you
So,
go.
Who did the Bulls play? They played the Celtics or yeah. Yeah, the Bulls versus Celtics, yeah.
Nice, nice.
Celtics.
I wanted to go to a Bulls game for a long time. Bulls were like my team forever
Oh
back
yeah.
in the day. Oh yeah, well, they had the dream team
Jordan. Yeah,
for
back
a
when
long time.
Jordan was
Yeah,
there.
I
yeah,
got into basketball when it was Jordan and all of them.
yeah.
And like, really, I had no interest. And then my boyfriend at the time, he would miss the games and he asked me to record them. So I actually got into basketball then because I was like paying attention so I can stop it for commercials and stuff like that. And I really got into it and I wanted to go to a Bulls game so bad while they played.
Mhm.
And like I never got to go. I just never got to go. And I was disappointed. And then it was like an opportunity came up like way after. I'm like, I'm over it now. It's not the same team.
Yeah.
Right.
But Jordan's gone.
Yeah, yeah, right. That's the big one.
I'm like,
Well,
the
you and
real
I will
true
go,
guys.
Pansy.
Huh?
I said you and I will go. We'll get you to. I know you don't care, but it's still fun. It's still fun to go to the games.
It is. Yeah.
Um, well, listen, guys.
But we didn't come here to talk about basketball.
No, we did not come here.
Oh, I thought you had a basketball podcast.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Huh?
that's actually not a bad idea.
I
Anyway,
get it.
um, no, but for real, guys, Abraham is somebody that has just got a wealth of knowledge. I mean, this is a person who's, been in entrepreneurship for quite a long time. He runs businesses, buys real estate, is a major go-giver. He's one of Pace's partners. I mean, he's got just a laundry list of experiences and knowledge. So we're super happy that he's here. And I wanted to kind of kick this off. Abraham, I usually ask guests, I like to start from the beginning. So for folks who are living under a rock and don't know who you are, um, why don't you give us a breakdown? How did you get started in all this, and where do you hail from?
Well, I was born in Florida. I've lived in my Atlanta the last 35 years. So I'm 50 this year. But the
Wow.
way I got into real estate was I had businesses way before I got into real estate. And I was making tons of money in business.
Mhm.
And one of my friends is like, "Oh, why don't you buy my house I'm in?" Like, so I have a friend that was renting a house.
Mhm.
And he's like, "The person that owns this house is interested potentially in selling it, but I can't buy it. But if you want to buy it." So
Mhm.
I looked at it and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And I ended up buying that house and a bunch of other rentals. Um, and that kind of like what took me into buying a ton of real estate. So I started off buying my own house to live in. Then I probably went and bought like 8 or 10 rentals. And then from there, I just started buying fix and flips and then got into all kinds of other stuff. I ended up in commercial stuff and multifamily and retail and warehouse. But I always went back and like single family the most. So single family is what I primarily do in real estate. But I mostly fix and flips, and I have maybe a little bit over 200 rentals right now, but all in the Atlanta market.
Oh,
And
wow.
so if I were to ask you, like, what's your preferred strategy with real estate? I'm sure you probably say whatever makes the most money,
And
right?
what makes the most money? So what makes
Yeah.
the most money? Fix and flips for the most part makes the most money. So I like fix and flips, but I'm really good at it. I've been doing it so long. A lot of people do fix and flips and lose money. Some people make a lot of money. Some people. So the way you make money in real estate is honestly by buying good deals. Like it doesn't matter if you're buying a good deal and you're renting it, if you're buying a good deal and you're fix and flipping it, you're buying a good deal and you're wholesaling it. If you can't buy a good deal, you're not going to make money. So no matter what the exit strategy is, as long as you buy it at a good deal, you're going to make money.
Right. And so talking about buying good deals, when you got into this, did you start doing your own underwriting? Did you start reviewing the deals and reviewing the numbers yourself, or did you have someone helping you with that initially?
Well, when I first started, I started with rentals, and I just looked at how much is my monthly payment going to be, and how
Yeah,
much is my rent going to be, and just as long as I made a certain amount, it made sense. So that was
right.
my writing in the beginning. But then, as I started doing fix and flips, yeah, I did my own underwriting. I figured out what I thought it would sell for, and then how
Mhm.
much it would cost me to rehab. And back then, I wasn't as good at knowing what stuff will cost. So I'll get a few quotes, and then I'd base my rehab on the quotes I got. I kind of knew what it'd sell for because I kind of knew, and then I asked, my realtors that would sell it for me, and between the two of us, we kind of had a good idea, and then it was just a matter of buying it for enough to where you can make enough money to where it's worth it.
Yeah, yeah, and you made a good point. A lot of people lose, and I know some of those people that have lost money fixing and flipping. I've lost money in the business, making stupid choices or making silly mistakes and whatnot. But those are some of the most valuable lessons, right?
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
yeah, I mean,
I think everybody that's been in real estate has lost money on some stuff if you've done enough of it. I mean, obviously, if you're new and you haven't done enough, maybe not, but
yeah,
the best people that made the most money that do the most at some point they've lost money on stuff. It's impossible not to. If they told you they didn't, they're just lying. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean the key is to lose as little as possible on the bad deals and just make as much money as you can on the good deals. And if you're doing stuff and you did everything right and the market just changes, that's another reason why people could lose money. So that's happened a lot in different market shifts. So you got to be prepared for that. But yeah, for the most part, I'm really good. I don't lose money on very little things. But
yeah.
once in a while, it still happens. You make mistakes. Sometimes the rehab's going to be a lot more than you think, and sometimes the market changes and stuff doesn't go for what you think it's going to go for.
Right. How do you guys stay on top of the market shifts? Are you just, you just reading up on stuff? Do you have a,
Uh,
team that kind of
For
does
me,
that?
it's real easy. For me, it's real easy because I buy like 15 properties a month
Right.
and I'm rehabbing, plenty of them. I always have a lot of properties on the market. So I could see how many people are looking at them, how many people are making offers. Are the offers low, high? What are they more than I think, less than I think?
Yeah.
Um, and then I also see like all the different wholesalers and different people around. What are they selling stuff at? What are they able to lock stuff up at? And because I'm doing so much volume, I get a good sense just by my own stuff. But I also talk to 100 other people in Atlanta and see what they're doing. How good are you doing with your fix and flips? How much are you buying stuff for? How much are you able to sell stuff for? And between all my stuff and everybody else's stuff, I go to all the meetups. You get a really good idea of the pulse. I'm really good friends with a lot of wholesalers, dispo wholesalers. I can see, when they're just able to sell as much stuff as they get, and then when it's tough to sell, and you can gauge it off that as well.
That's a really good point. Yeah, that's a great point. Well, first of all, for folks, for you guys who are watching this, it's really just about doing it, right? So Abraham's talking about is you just, he's doing enough business to where he can watch his own deals and he can gauge the market based off just his own deals that he's doing. Obviously you're not at that level. The next best thing is to talk to people, right? Go get out there and meet people and talk to people who are in the business that are doing the business. And that's probably a better gauge. Like I hear people, everybody's got a different idea, right? Of what the right way to do this. And there's no necessarily no wrong answer, I guess, but you know, getting out there and actually talking to people is probably the most important thing. So let me ask you a question. Well, doing it and talking to people, right? Taking action and talking to people. So how do you guys assess risk when you're looking at these deals? I know it's really just kind of comes down to the numbers. Is that really all it is for you guys? It's just a numbers thing
The
or
numbers game. I know how much I want to make, and I look to see what I think it's going to sell for. I figure my percentage of what, I know it's the holding costs are going to be and my realtor fees and what profit I need to make. And then I figure out the rehab. And then from there, I come up with the amount that I'm going to pay. And,
Yeah.
luckily 99% of the time I'm right. And then once in a while I make a mistake and stuff's worse than I thought, or, one way or another. But it's very rare. When they do make mistakes, they're usually pretty minor.
Um, yeah,
But
that's a good.
I have made plenty of big mistakes in the past, I just got it to a point now where I don't really make mistakes, or if I do, like I said, they're really minor. But in the past, I've made plenty of mistakes.
Well, is there, speaking of mistake, I was going to bring this up a little bit later, but I might as well ask you now. Every journey, every business journey or investment journey has missteps. We were just kind of talking about that a little bit, but is there any particular misstep that one of the biggest lessons that you could think of that comes to mind when you think about some of the mistakes that you've
Oh
made?
yeah, yeah. Just doing stuff you don't know, like doing stuff you don't know. So anytime I do something different that I've never done before, I always make mistakes. Almost always.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee there's going to be mistakes made, especially if there's nobody helping me that hasn't done it. So I would say figure out what you know and what you're good at, or what and stick to that stuff. That's why people have buy boxes and people have lend boxes and whatever it is. If typically you make the biggest mistakes when you leave your buy box or leave your whatever box that is. Uh,
Yeah.
I have mine and I stick with it. And almost every single time I'm like, oh, let me vary off of it. That's where mistakes happen.
That's what mistakes happen. Ooh, that's a gold nugget right there. So,
Yeah.
and now you can't coming up with your buy box is not that's not necessarily a trivial thing, right? You kind of build that through experience and knowing what to look for. Is that kind of how yours kind of grew organically?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a system based on the stuff I do, and I just plug it all in and it goes. But buy boxes and stuff could change, but it should change as you learn stuff and as you get better at different things. But it shouldn't just change just by gambling and hoping something works.
No, that's yeah, absolutely. So, let's get back to your because you had mentioned in the beginning that you had started with business, you were making a bunch of money in business. What got you into actually just buying businesses, or and did you start you started with your own business and then you just started acquiring other businesses? Is that how that?
Yeah, the way I started business was my first business was selling sports cards, and I collected cards my whole life. I was really big into sports when I was younger.
Mhm.
And I turned that into a business. So I already enjoyed it. I already knew the cards well. And a lot of the stuff I bought went up in value. So
Mhm.
I started by selling a lot of my cards that I collected that went up a lot. And when I went to these shows, I saw other people buying and selling. So then I started buying other cards, and I figured out again, how much is a card worth? What can I sell it for? Well, how much money do I want to make? How much lower do I got to buy it for? And just offer people a price to where I know if I bought it, I can make money on it. And then I got really good at it, and I was able to buy big collections at a time and bigger collections, and then to where I was buying tens of thousands of dollars at a time and more, and buying other dealers and stuff out. So that's how my first business started. And then as I made more money, I was able to buy more stuff and sell more stuff, and then get into other businesses as I understood business. I was in sports cars for a long time before I did anything else.
Yeah.
Probably a good 7 years. And
Wow.
and
Wow.
over those 7 years, I learned a lot about business. And once you know business, you could kind of do really any type of business. It's just different products or different services.
That's pretty amazing. And then obviously the next businesses you bought once you understood what you were doing or you felt more comfortable with what you were doing, then it's just a numbers game, just like the real estate
Yeah,
business.
everything's a numbers game. Yeah.
Everything's a numbers game. Yeah.
The
Now,
way
are
you
there?
make, the way you make money in anything, whether it's sports cards, any other business, real estate, doesn't matter, buying businesses, the way you make money in it is by buying it at a good price. That's where all the money's made when you buy it.
You
Selling
buy.
it, yeah, you can make a little bit more money, a little bit less money, but you really make the money when you buy it. That's where the money's made.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you hear that all the time, right? You make your money when you buy, you make your money. Now, what about when you acquire these businesses? We hear a lot of things, different strategies and different methodologies for improving the business. One of the things that catches my eye is like, hey, when you acquire the business, look at the technology that's being used. Is there room to improve some of the technology that's being used in the business? Is that kind of some of the strategies that you guys use to improve these businesses or, increase the net revenue of these businesses?
Yeah, I mean that definitely. There's all kinds of strategies. So I do a lot of different marketing that a lot of these people don't do. So, I do it by marketing, but one of my big ways that I increase businesses is that I buy businesses that are very similar to businesses I already have. So what I can do is I could combine those businesses with my business, and I could get rid of a lot of the expenses and overhead. Like for instance, like instead of having an accounting for both businesses, I could combine them and have accounting for, so I cut the accounting costs off of one business. And a lot of times, I can combine the locations together. Sometimes I keep them separate, but if I combine the location together, I get rid of the rent. I get rid of the utilities. If I once I start buying more stuff, because now I have two of the same business or multiple, I get better deals when I buy it from my vendors. Like, if you buy 10, you might pay $1, but if you buy 100, you buy 90 cents. You buy 1,000, you get it for 80 cents. So I'm able to buy stuff for cheaper because I'm able to buy more. And then when I'm selling stuff, I make a lot more because maybe one business had 10 products, the other business had 10 products, maybe five of the products overlapped and were the same, but the other five are different. So now both businesses could sell five more products to the same customers. So I can increase my average sale because I'm selling more stuff as
Right.
well.
Right.
So those are a lot of the ways that I do it. And of course, there's a lot of others that you heard, but I love buying businesses that are similar and to where they could help my other existing businesses because the costs very rarely go up. And even with employees, if
Yeah.
you have 10 employees at one business, 10 employees at another business, you combine the two, you could probably keep 15 or 16 instead of 20, 20, because you should 15, 16 to run both. You might not need the same managers or people. A lot of people do the same thing and they're not busy all the time, so you can combine so you can save money on cost that way.
Right.
But and then also like if you have a lot of big equipment, you might not need all the equipment that you have, so you can sell some of it and recoup some of the money, or you could potentially, if you're leasing different things, you could get rid of some of them because you don't need as much if you combine stuff. So that's my biggest thing of how I make a lot of money of that other people can't make. A normal person can't buy a business and make what I make unless you have another business that's similar because you can't cut all those costs and do all those different things. Where
Right.
that's what my big advantage is. So I call
Yeah.
them bolt-ons, where I buy something and I could just grow my existing businesses.
Do
Right.
you have businesses that are related to real estate that aren't real estate? Like,
Yeah, a ton. Yeah. So a lot of the businesses I buy, I use. So I have, a renovation company, I have a tree cutting service, I have a cleaning company, I have, different things like that. So I'm able to use those for my own businesses, and of course they for other people as well.
nice. Yeah. That's what I look at where we will be one day, as we pick up properties and whatnot. We're going to go the co-living route for the most part.
Mhm.
And all of those businesses that you just mentioned, anywhere from landscaping and cleaning and all of that can be useful for our real estate business. So,
Yeah. Why not keep it all in house, right? Why not keep it all in house, paying yourself, paying your businesses rather than somebody else, especially since your businesses do a good job, right? You can control that. That's something you can
100%.
control.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
100%.
yeah, I love that. And so now for your acquisition, even it doesn't necessarily have to be all about real estate, but your acquisition process, I'm assuming you have two different acquisition funnels for businesses and for real estate. Do you also do wholesaling? Are you running that strategy also?
So I really never do any wholesaling. However, I do have a team that does acquisitions.
Right.
But the reason why I say I don't do wholesaling is because it's extremely rare, and I have probably once a year done a wholesale deal,
Yeah.
but it's extremely rare. So a wholesale deal is where you're buying, locking up a deal and locking up a contract and then selling the contract to somebody else. You
Yeah.
really never own the property. You either assign it or you double close. You own it for like a second, right?
Yeah.
So every property that I buy, I take down. I pay cash for, and I own every single property. Now, I do sell a lot of those properties without rehabbing them or do really minor stuff, but it's typically a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month later. It's very rare that I do double closes or an assignment.
Right.
The reason why is, and I'm probably the only one I know that really does a strategy like heavily like I do,
Mhm.
is because when you wholesale a property, you don't really own the property, so you can't do certain things. And a lot of properties that I see people wholesale, they have like foundation issues, or and they could be minor, or they have like a lot of mold issues that are really cheap to fix, or they're just full of crap, like it's a hoarder house, or just it smells because they had dogs or pets or mold
Right.
or whatever it is. And those things you really can't fix. And when you sell it, you get dinged a lot for that stuff because most people can't see past it. So I like to like fix all that stuff. I won't sell a property that smells. I won't sell a property that has a bunch of shit in it. I won't sell a property that has, foundation issues. I won't sell a property that has mold. I won't sell a property that needs major like subflooring because I can fix all that stuff so cheap.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why I don't wholesale. But um,
Well, also because you're buying it, right? Like it's a little bit different for you as opposed to someone else maybe just getting started. Obviously, you hear a lot about wholesaling just because it's a way to kind of get that right now money to get you started, and you learn the process of acquisitions and all of those fun things. But it's not for everybody, and for you who are buying most of these deals, it probably I can see how it wouldn't make sense for you
but
to
I'll
know.
tell you that 70% of the deals I buy, I don't fix and flip or keep. 70% of them I sell to other investors. I just don't wholesale them because wholesaling again,
You buy them first, you hold
I
on.
buy them, I own them, and the average time it takes me to sell a property is almost 4 weeks. So I own a property for 4 weeks. But during
Right.
that 4 weeks, I make it worth $20,000 more by spending a few $1,000s. Or if I spend 5 or 10,000, it's worth 25,000 more. I
Yeah.
know how to make it worth a lot more with spending the minimum amount.
Right.
So that's just my strategy. I end up making an extra 10, 15,000 on every property because I do that.
Brilliant.
I
Yeah.
need to talk to you because I need to use the least amount to get my house.
And the crazy thing is, a lot of the reasons why other people don't do it is because they don't have the money to take the property down, right? That's why people do it, which is
Right.
not an excuse. It's so easy to find a private money lender that will loan you money for a month to 6 months,
Yeah.
and you could do all the same exact stuff that I do without having any money. So I'm a big private money lender in Atlanta. I loan out crazy amount of money every single week.
Yeah.
I have about 30 million bucks out all the time, and they're all to fix and flippers, and most of them are actually fix and flipping it all the way, but some of them do a little bit what I do, and they don't have to use any of their money. Now, if you buy it cheap enough, I'll fund the whole thing. If you're paying more than I would pay, then yeah, you're gonna have to come up with 10%, 20%, whatever it is, based on what I think it's worth.
Right.
But there are people in every single state, especially every big market, that would loan you money if you're buying something at a good price, where they'll fund the whole thing or most of it, and you could do the same strategy and make an extra 10, 15, 20,000 like I did.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, and so when you're looking at these opportunities, even in lending, obviously when the risk level goes up, people are going to have to come to the table with more skin in the game as you assess the risk of the opportunity. But when you're looking at these deals, I think probably an important distinction is how often to say no to a deal, and what really I'm being presumptuous, but I'm assuming you say no more than you say yes
Yeah, I
to.
say no 95 to 99% of the
Yeah.
time, but
Yeah.
I'm not even saying no all the time. I say no if people are just retarded and like give me like crazy prices that make no sense.
Yeah.
But instead of saying no, I usually just come back and say, look, I can't pay 100, but I could pay 80 or 90 or whatever. I'll usually like I'm the buy side when I'm buying property. I'll probably half the time just say no, I'm too far, I pass, and the other half the time I'll be like, look, we're 10% off or 15% off or 5% off, and I can
Yeah.
buy it. I'll never like pass if we're somewhat close. On the lending side, if people are coming to me and saying, "Look, I want to borrow, 200,000," I'll never say no. What I'll do is I'll say, "Look, I can loan you this amount." I always tell somebody how much I can loan them. So I'll never say no. I'll just give them the amount that I can do. And trust me, if people are paying way more than what I could loan, they're probably not getting a good deal, and they're probably not going to make money or potentially lose money if they're paying a lot more than I would loan them. Because I want to loan people as much money as possible. If
Right. Sure.
they, so if someone's buying it at a good price, I'll loan them the whole amount. But I have a lot of people that know what they're doing, and I can loan them 100% of what they're buying it for. And then I have a
Yeah.
lot of people that don't know what they're doing, and I loan them a smaller percent and help. I tell
Yeah,
them,
it's that's yeah, right. So which totally makes sense. Like if I come to you and I have no experience, I'm a higher risk, right? And it's just most lenders are going to charge you some points, there's going to be some extra costs there to you
yeah,
with
I don't even care if people have a lot of experience or not so much, although most people do. I care more about if the property you're buying it cheap enough to where if you don't pay me and I have to foreclose and take the property, I'm super safe. If I'm
yeah,
super safe and you're buying this cheap enough, I don't care if you don't have experience. I'll tell you ahead of time, look, if you don't pay me, I'm
I'm
gonna
taking
I'm
property.
taking the property. So
Yeah.
like I don't care how much experience you have, I just care that the property is worth more
Right.
than what I'm lending you.
Which is a safe bet. So real quick, guys, I'm gonna just quick pause for you guys who are on the show with us. This is a unique opportunity to get on with Abraham and ask him some questions if you have any. So if you do have questions, raise your hand. I'll bring you up here and we can have a discussion with Abraham. I'm trying to be respectful of his time as well. The show's usually about 45 minutes to an hour at most. So take advantage of it now. If you do have questions, just raise your hands. If you don't know how to do that, by the way, you click on the bottom of your screen, you select React, and there's a raise your hand button there. So just click on that button. And if you're on your mobile phone too, I think you got to tap the screen, hit the little three dots at the bottom, same thing, click React, raise your hand, come up here and ask a question. So let's talk about your partnership with Pace, because this is something that's, has been something I've been interested in a while. How did you and Pace meet?
So the way me and Pace met was back in 2020, I joined Sub 2.
Mm-hmm.
And after I joined Sub 2, so in 2020 was the first year that Sub 2 was around. I was like in the first year.
Right.
And back in the beginning, he didn't have as much people. I mean, there was like a few hundred people. When I joined, there was maybe like 600, 700
Back in
people.
the whiteboard days, right? Back in the whiteboard days.
Yeah. And he would always tell people, "Oh, come to Arizona, come to Phoenix." Like, well, so I flew out there, in the beginning, and just got to meet him and stuff like that. But then he also did a meetup in Atlanta at the end of 2020 where he came and hung out. We talked a little bit, and just over time, I brought him some different ideas of my thoughts of how he, different things he can do in Sub 2 with the community, and a lot of it made sense. And we ended up partnering on a lot of deals with different ideas I had, and he added a lot of really cool ideas to those ideas, and we started buying properties together. So I own a bunch of properties with him all over the country and other Sub 2 students. And we started a lending business together. We started a few different things together, and just over the years, I'd come to all the golden tickets, the masterminds, and just became friends, that way.
So my question is, you were already a successful businessman when you met and came across Pace.
Yeah.
So what attracted you to joining the community at that point?
Well, I was really good at business and I was really good at real estate, but Pace was a million times better than me at what he taught, right? I mean, I've done creative finance deals before, and I've done some sub twos deals before, but I might have done like 5 or 6 in my life up until 2020. So the reason why is because there's a lot of nuances I didn't understand with it, and I didn't have good contracts and stuff like that. So I saw him talk about it a lot, and I was like, shit, I kind of wanted to build a rental portfolio even more at the time, although I already had 100 and some properties. But I wanted to buy more and creatively, and I just saw him talk about it, what he did, and all the different contracts that he had, and I was like, damn, these are more solid than mine, and so I joined just to learn what he learned, and then what I saw was the guy's the smartest guy I've ever seen when it comes to creative finance and just real estate stuff in general. I've looked at plenty of other people's programs. And there's other good people out there, but I just think Pace knew way more than everybody else and has done more than anybody else. So, I was attracted to the fact that I could tell if someone's smart or not pretty fast. And I could just tell this guy was a really sharp guy. Not as many people knew him back then, but obviously everyone knows him now and they could see, how smart the guy is. But yeah, so that's what attracted me. I knew I could learn from him. And again, I'm learning new stuff all the time. I'm really good at what I'm good at. I'm not good at most stuff, but the stuff I'm good at, I'm really good at. But you can always get better. And again, you could learn stuff that's similar that could help you in the stuff you're doing now and add new stuff to what he calls your tool belt, right? So I just saw him way smarter and knew his stuff better than all the other people that taught it. And I was like, well, shit, I'm going to learn it from someone, learn it from the person that knows it the most.
Yeah. And for people who are watching the show that don't know who Pace Morby is, if you don't know, go check out his name. Go Google his name.
There'll be a link in the
link. We'll also have a link in the description, but go check him out.
We had a question.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I'm gonna bring up Jeff here in just a second. Jeff, let's
Jeff's a black belt. He'll kick your ass.
Do that. Oh, Jeff, can you turn your camera on for me so I can spotlight you?
Okay, let's see.
There you are.
All right.
All right, Jeff, welcome.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. Just a quick question for Abraham. Just what are you buying now? How many houses are you planning to buy this month? And where you like to buy now?
So I only buy within 50 miles of Atlanta. Any direction, northeast, southwest. If it's within an hour drive of where I'm at right now, I'm right in the middle of Atlanta.
Mhm.
If I can get there in an hour, I buy. There's 21 counties I buy in. And as far as how many I buy, I've been buying this year about 15 houses a month on average. So I'll probably end up with close to 180, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. But when the market was super high in like 2021 and 22, I was buying 25, 30 homes a month. So I was buying over 300 and something. But now I'll probably end up with close to about 180 this year. And anywhere in Atlanta, doesn't matter. As long as the price makes sense. And by the way, I've known Jeff for
Yeah.
almost 13 years now. I started martial art. I started doing jiu-jitsu 13 years ago, and he was already doing it when I met. So he was always like a little bit ahead of me. But
A
Nice.
little bit.
Nice.
yeah, but we always had a fun time because we're pretty close in age and in weight, and we're in a lot of the same when we do tournaments, we're in the same division a lot of the time.
Nice.
Nice.
So, you said jujitsu. Is it jujitsu or yeah?
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So I've done every type of martial arts, but jiu-jitsu is
Yeah.
the one that I've been doing the most. I kind of focused on over the last decade plus.
Yeah.
And that's how I met Jeff, JC they call him, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait to roll with you again. Can't wait to roll with you
But he
again,
moved.
brother.
So we used to roll together all the time in Atlanta, and he moved to South Carolina, so I don't get to see him much.
So there's a Gracie Barra gym near me that I went to.
It's not Gracie Barra. What's it called?
Gracie Baja.
Barha. Sorry.
Get it straight, Justin.
Hey. So I find it fascinating that
You probably also call like those things gyros, not euros, probably, right?
I call them euros. Yeah, I call them euros.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. You almost got me on that one, but yeah. So I just find it fascinating that people, business owners, entrepreneurs gravitate towards jujitsu. I obviously I walked in and got my ass beat, and it was a very humbling experience. But I actually really enjoyed it. They're all super nice. Most of these places, the people that are the most dangerous people are usually the nicest people. But it's just there's a lot of decision making and a lot of thinking on your feet that you got to do. And you realize how out of shape you are when you go get your ass beat at a jiu-jitsu gym. But humbling experience, and there was most of the people in there that I talked to were business owners, believe it or not, or budding entrepreneurs, right? So I find that pretty fascinating.
So I have to go take up jiu-jitsu. I can't even fit.
There's plenty of females too. There's a lot of females that do it. We have a lot of it in our gym. It's pretty diverse.
I would honestly recommend, if you haven't gone, and if you're on the fence, just go once. I think everybody should go once and get their head kicked in a little bit.
And look, it's definitely 100% not for everyone, but
right.
if you like it, like you're gonna fall in love and love it, and that's what keeps me in shape. Like I'd be 50 pounds if I wasn't doing that.
Yeah. Yep. And right now for me, I get mentored periodically. I still do a little bit of jiu-jitsu here and there, but mostly for me it's the gym. I
don't believe you. I don't believe you do jiu-jitsu because no one that does jiu-jitsu says Gracie. What did you say, Gracie?
Barra?
No one says that does jiu-jitsu.
Well, it was one time. It was one time. So
I can sniff you out and know if you're telling me the truth or not.
No, I honestly did and got my ass beat. So, and it was expensive. I remember it was pricey, and basically I spent probably, what was it? This was probably about 8 or 9 years ago now. I spent probably about $300 to $400 for
to get your butt beat.
To get my butt kicked. Yeah.
Oh,
I can do that for free.
Just go to Team Octopus. Yeah, you'll get it for a lot less money.
That's my gyms in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You buy gyms in Atlanta?
What gym do you go to?
It's called Team Octopus. It's the head instructor is called Roberto Travin. He's in jiu-jitsu probably like 40 some years. I don't know.
Nice.
crazy.
That's what we were both trained under.
Nice.
Amazing. That's amazing. What, so if you could describe it, like what's the thing you like most about it, about jujitsu, about keeping,
I like the sweat. I like getting in good, like it keeps you in cardio shape, but like everything else, like running and all that stuff to me is so boring. Where this is like a fun way to lose weight. You meet like the coolest people. You have, a lot of your best friends you meet there.
Yeah.
On top of that, it's a chess game, right? So like if you like using strategy and figuring out how to, and it feels really good. Like in the beginning, you suck, right? People just kill you, and then all of a sudden, people don't kill you; they just beat you, and then they beat you less, and then eventually you're like, oh shit, I can hold my own, and then keep beating the newer people. Like it's kind of
yeah,
cool to see the progression and see like that.
Yeah.
But it's a chess game. Every single time someone beats you, there's a way to counter that, and there's a counter to that, a counter. And it's just there's millions and millions of different things you can do in every situation, and it's just fun to figure out that you're progressing and able to like now do stuff to people that you couldn't do, and just getting better.
yeah,
So it sounds like it's a lot of mind and body together, which is
Yes.
a
A
good.
lot of
Absolutely.
memory, a lot of muscle memory. Like if you do something enough, you're gonna, and you can feel stuff. When people are starting to do stuff, you're like, oh, I know what's gonna happen. You could beat them.
Mhm.
So
yeah,
So
yeah,
if you go against the same person, I've like, I watch patterns.
yeah,
So I can usually tell, like, I watched a lot of boxing growing up, and I'm like, oh, this guy, he's got that, left, right, left, bam, and he's gonna knock you out with the right.
yeah.
Like I'm sitting there yelling, like, don't you understand? Haven't you fought this guy
Get out of
before?
the way.
Have you not watched? He's gonna,
Yeah, you can as you're watching, you can see what someone leaves open with. But I mean, and plus
Yeah.
the other reason why we love it, it feels really good to choke people out. I mean, doesn't it just,
Yeah.
when you get somebody, it feels good. It's like, all right.
I
Plus,
guess.
you're a
I
lot
don't
more
know.
you're a lot more confident when you go out and stuff. Like if someone messes with you, you feel pretty confident that you could at least control the situation and not be in trouble. So
yeah,
it's just nice being able to walk around and just feeling good.
Yeah.
Knowing,
I
you know,
walk around pretty confident and I don't know all that stuff, but
you just haven't done
I
it.
have
Sure you've
had
done
some training, growing up in the streets of Chicago and
Yeah.
stuff like that, where,
Um,
your own friends kick your butt. So,
so let me just cut in really quick here. Like I think from what you're talking about with jujitsu, it's important to keep yourself in shape, obviously.
yeah.
What would you say for anybody who's trying to get into business, especially early on? Like how important is it to keep yourself in shape? And I don't care, like I hear excuses from everybody. I still go to the gym at least 4 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week, no matter what. And so how important is it to keep yourself, in shape, working out and
It's crazy important. Like you don't feel good about yourself if you don't stay in shape. I mean, if you don't feel good about yourself, your whole mental self, you're not going to be able to focus right, and you're not going to do the best stuff because you're not feeling good about yourself. If you don't
yeah,
feel good about yourself, how can you do anything good? So you got to take care of yourself, and obviously health and being in shape and feeling good is the most important thing.
yeah.
So it's crucial with every aspect of your life. You're not going to have good relationships. You don't feel good. You're not going to have be good in business or anything else.
Yeah, for me, and I don't know how you feel about this, Pansy, but for me, it's about my brain. Like I don't really care as much about the looking good part. It's for me, if I haven't gone to the gym in a couple of days, I can immediately start to tell, right? Just
yeah,
with cognitively. Do you know what I mean?
I get more done when I
Mhm.
make sure I do some type of workout every day, get
Yeah.
some type of exercise. I like to mix it up and do different things, but I can definitely tell the difference on days that I don't show up and do any type of workout whatsoever.
Yeah, they've done studies where like they have like half the office work out before they come work and half that don't. And the ones that work out before are so much more productive, get so much more done faster
Yeah,
and more, better and make a
yeah,
lot more money.
yeah,
It keeps your mind, going.
Yeah.
They say a body in motion stays in motion, a body at rest stays at rest.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see how someone working out before they go to work or whatever they're doing would be beneficial compared to just showing up I haven't really done anything, and now I'm showing up and I have to be here and, perform, but I'm still at rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I know we're getting sort of towards the end here. I know we've kind of been jumping around on different subjects here, but I mean, if you let me stay on here with you, Abraham, I've got like a million more questions for you, but
Yeah.
I do want to be respectful of your time. So maybe before we end, were there some other mentors besides Pace that you went through, and who are the ones that you remember the most, maybe outside of the sub two community?
So some of them that first mentors were people that nobody would know. They're like people that I saw that did similar business to what I was
Sure.
doing. And I went around and learned from them, and that's how I got better. And then as far as famous people, I remember like buying a Tony Robbins course and just getting that mindset right and understanding how to get people to like you and building good rapport with people and stuff like that. So Tony Robbins helped a lot in early. And then there was a guy, Carlton Sheets, that back in the probably 80s and 90s, that was like the Pace Morby of the 80s and 90s that like taught people how to buy business, how buy properties creatively and stuff like that. So I had all his cassettes, and then from there, it just depends on what industry I wanted to go into, but like there's a few different things I wanted to get really good at, and I just found the best people in it and learn from them. So
Yeah, that's
that's
huge.
pretty much who I found. But I learned a lot from Pace. I got close with him, but like all the people around him, like Jamil Damji, I'm really close with. I learned a lot of different things from him, and I do stuff with him. And Jerry Norton is cool. And all these people are just they're all in the same circle. So
Yeah,
they're all they're really good at what they do, and if you want to be the best at what they do, learn from them.
learn from them, and yeah, success leaves clues, that whole thing, right?
Mhm.
Well, so for the new folks, what would be your main message for the new folks that are, whether they're new and getting into real estate or new in entrepreneurship? What would be a message you would leave those folks?
Well, figure out what you want to do in your life and in business, and hang around people that are successful at what you want to do, and that's how you get really good at it. They're gonna help you. You can figure out ways to help them, work with them. And that's how I got better at everything I've gotten. It doesn't matter what it was, business, relationships, jujitsu. I hung around people that are a little bit better than me that taught me stuff, in every single aspect. And you could pay people to teach you, or you could just help them and figure out ways to bring value to them and make them more money, and then they help you because you're helping them at the same time. So that's a good way to do it, more than even if you don't want to spend money. There's tons of meetups, there's tons of Facebook groups, obviously tons of stuff to learn on YouTube and all that. Just figure out who is the person that you think you can learn the most from that's most successful in the stuff you want to do, and hang around those people. The next most important thing I would say is just be authentic, but be like the nicest person you could be. No matter who you're dealing with. Like I'll deal with a janitor the same way I'll deal with the big CEO. It doesn't matter, because you never know something to come out of it. And plus, it's just people are going to treat you the way they see you treat other people.
Yeah,
So I would say just make sure that you're very likable and that you're very trustworthy. You don't lie, you're honest, and that comes around 10 times fold. And people are going to do the same with you, and you're going to get around the right people. So getting
yeah,
rid of all negativity in your life, obviously. I don't care who it is. If they're negative, I don't hang around anyone. So
yeah.
everyone around me is positive. That's a big thing. That will like drain you if not, and not make you be able to be at a high level if you're not around positive people. So those are probably the biggest takeaways I would say that people should do, and their lives will change for sure.
Absolutely. I
nice.
love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good point. I mean, the point about, being likable, but being honest and doing what you say you're going to do. And, Pace talks about leading with value. I think sometimes people don't know what value they bring. So maybe, to your point, know what you want to do and know what your strengths are, right?
Everyone has strengths, and if you know a lot of people, I could show everybody what their strengths are, or get them to figure out what their strengths are. It's not that hard, but
Yeah.
everyone has strengths that can help a lot of different people. Like we're all good at different things. I'm
Yeah.
really good at what I'm good at, but I probably suck at all the stuff you're good at. You're really good at stuff that I'm not good at, and same with everybody else.
Yeah.
So everyone's good at stuff. So there's a way to figure out what you're good at and figure out how to use it to help people in that way.
Yeah.
Anyone that thinks that they're not good at something or not good at anything, I could always easily within like a few minutes show them something they're good at. The easiest way to do it is say, look, how old are you? And you'll tell me, oh, I'm 40 years old. I'm like, all right, cool. When you were 20, is there a lot of things that you wish you knew, you wish you knew when you were 20 that you know now that you could, your 40-year-old self could tell your 20-year-old self that can make you way more successful or make you way better? Like, holy shit, yeah, I knew this now, I know this now. Well, there's a million 20-year-olds that you could go help, and there's a million, all these different things. So there's so many things
That's
now
what,
that if you would have known 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that would have
yeah.
helped you so much. And they think they can't bring any value. But I'm like, holy shit, you just told me like 10 things in 10 minutes, in 5 minutes that you could have told your 20-year-old self that would have made you way more successful. You think you were the only 20-year-old person that, there's plenty of other people that don't know that stuff that you could help.
I like that.
I
I
like
wanted
that a
to
lot.
go back and say something what you were saying about, be likable. It's not being fake, being a genuine person. And as far as bringing value, it could be something small. Like when you came to Chicago, you needed someone to, you guys needed to get to the basketball game, and your photographer had his camera. He couldn't take that in. That was going to take more time for you guys to go drop it off and then get to the game.
Yep.
And I was able to be there and say, no, look, if you trust me, I can take it to the hotel and drop it off. You guys could go to your game and not miss any of it. It's the little things sometimes are the big things,
That was
right?
risky, actually. I didn't know you that well at the time. I gave you like a $4,000 camera, and I was like, shit, I might never see
Could
it.
have disappeared.
And I gave you my room key to fucking go back to the hotel.
I know.
and
I
put it
could
in.
have totally
I was like, oh
went
my
in
God.
there.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy the first quarter. I was thinking, damn, is my camera? Nah, I was just kidding. But
He's calling everybody. How well do we know her?
Yeah.
everyone's like, how old are you? I was like, I don't know. I mean, I know of her, and we never really met.
But that's fine. But see, like Pansy, you put yourself in the situation. We're there at the meetups. You're getting to know people, getting to know Abraham, and put yourself in a situation where you could offer and bring that value. So that's huge. That's super huge. But I would say, yeah, but when you're talking about being like, well, what we mean is be kind, don't be nice, like be authentic, be who you actually are. And because I don't know about you guys, but my bullshit meter is really sensitive. And when people are, you can tell, like I had a friend who had a girlfriend, and you could just tell, right? She doesn't really care about what's going on. She doesn't, she's not happy for you, right? You can tell when people are kind of being that way. Anyway, so Abraham, thank you so much for being here, man. It's really good to meet you, by the way. I've been meaning to meet you for a long time. And I'd love to have you back on here again too, to catch up and see how things progress. I know you're just Abraham's constantly growing, guys. So, he's always got stuff going on. For folks who want to reach out to you or want to get to know you better, how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, just follow me on social media. So I'm on Facebook, Abraham Gray, Gray. Instagram, Abraham Gray Official. YouTube, I have Abraham Gray channel. I post many videos every month, and then my email is probably the best way. If you have deals and we want to do deals together, it's just Abraham at MMA, like mixed martial arts, ATL like Atlanta.com. So Abraham at MMA, and I answer my email super fast. If you email me, I do super fast responses. But of course, if you message me on any social media, I respond to those every day as well.
Okay. Awesome. And we'll put all of that in the description too. We'll make sure that people can get a hold of you to the description. But yeah, I think that's pretty good unless anybody else has any questions. I think we're pretty good, but again, appreciate you being here.
Thank you. And
yeah.
thank you, Jeff, for coming on and asking a question.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Jeff, Cedric does stuff for me every single month. He helps me with a bunch of real Cedric Brown.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I see Cedric like every month, and he does a bunch of like real estate. He drives around and does inspections and stuff for me on different properties. And
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. You guys still working together.
yeah.
I love it.
Love it.
Well, thanks everyone.
Yep. Thank you guys. I'm gonna say did you have something you wanted to add, Jeff, or I didn't hear you say it?
No, just
All right.
pleasure to be here. Thanks guys for putting this on. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Abraham's a great guy.
He is, yes. We appreciate both of you. Thanks
Yep.
for showing up.
All right, guys, for Pansy and Justin, this is the Friends with Benefits podcast. Thank you guys for being here, and be sure to like, subscribe, check us out. We're going to continue to have guests on like Abraham. It's just we're going to keep this showboat rolling. So join us again, and we'll talk to you
Tomorrow.
next time. Yeah, actually tomorrow. Good point. All right, guys. See ya.
Yeah.